Alright guys, before today's episode, just a quick reminder that we are on Patreon. For as little as £3 a month, you can sign up, get access to an extra episode every 2 weeks, plus bonus content from all our previous live shows, the full uncensored, I suppose you could say, behind the scenes from the pavilion, some behind the scenes footage from there, behind the scenes footage from the Fringe, some episodes we recorded out in Germany, and first dibs on upcoming tickets for live shows.
Full shebang.
Yes. Also, would like to plug. We're doing the Fringe. Me and Marc are doing new shows at the Edinburgh Fringe. My show's called Horse. Your show's called
Marxism.
And Stevie, don't worry about him. He's doing a couple of whips.
I'm doing 3 whips called Cold Meat.
Yeah,
Lovely.
But if you'd like to see all 3 of us together, we are doing Some Laugh Live at the Fringe on the 20th of August. It's a late night show, similar to the one we done last year.
It's going to be crazy.
Exciting
It's going to be
times.
bloody crazy.
Yes. And I should probably say I do have a new stand-up special out called Marc Jennings Away From Here. It's on the Some Laugh YouTube channel now. Stevie, you've also got some stuff that's just came out on a rival thing.
I've got 2 rival things. I've got an iPlayer short film and I've got
iPlayer, have I heard of it?
Channel 4 short
On all 4.
on all 4.
You can watch it, you can stream it on Channel
Domino,
4 plus 1 as
hoo-hoo.
well.
You can do all that.
It's
The
on
thing
after
that
Everybody Loves Raymond before school.
we were talking about it in the episode with Joe Hewlett, if you watched that. So check it out. It's a laugh.
Stu, have you got a new special coming out? When's that?
It'll be out at some point, hopefully before the Fringe.
Yeah.
My last show, love that for me.
You can
So, yeah,
potentially
please.
watch that if it's out.
If that's out, you can watch that. If it's not, don't worry about it.
Come and see the new stuff. But hopefully see you at the Fringe, guys. Sign up to the Patreon, as we say. And aside from that, enjoy today's episode.
Love you.
Enjoy.
Welcome to the Some Laugh Podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No,
It's
there's going to be some.
some laugh.
Too much of an open book. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember I done one and she had to she was like, right. The host was a little bit of a loose cannon as well, so she was like, right, I need to see this before it goes out. Do you know what I mean? And when she seen it, she was like, I can't believe you're just so open. And I'm like, that's the joys of it, innit? Do you know what I mean? No point in beating around the bush.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right, so tell us about your trauma.
how long do we have?
well, we could actually start with a wee bit of trauma because the last time we bumped into you was right after the Germany-Scotland game outside the Allianz Arena.
Honestly, man, like, I'm very fortunate, and I said this at the time. I was like, see, if I had, like, you know, not to like flex or whatever, but if I had paid my own money to go to that game, I would have been.
We paid a fucking fortune, by the way.
I would have been kicking off. Like, I swear to God, I would have wrote an actual stern letter to the SFA, like, I need my refund, because that was something else, man.
Oh man, I know. Do you know it's funny? A few people have said this. Oh, did you just get tickets through like Scotland or something? I'm like, did we fuck?
We got them through a third party.
That's the most expensive thing I've ever bought.
Yeah, I can't lie. Like, see, when I got my ticket through and I seen the price of it, I was like, you better have just given me the cash. Do you know?
Watching the pub.
Yeah, it was great, man.
You know, man.
Did you went through JD? Was that
Through
right?
JD, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's actually so funny, wasn't it? Because it all came about through the jotter on the wing, what's called TikTok. Do you know what I mean? Like, literally, like, since that TikTok, my life just went.
I think that's where I first seen you. Actually,
Yeah.
was that because was that a collab with that lassie who done the song
Yeah,
about
well,
Jota, the
I mean-
Celtic player?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a collab because the bird did not want anything to do with it at all. Like,
Can you collab against someone's will like that?
Well, that's the thing. So she put it out, and then I like followed her and I like DM'd her and everything. I was like, yo, like, let me get on this. Bro, read it, aired it, every single message, aired. And one of my friends was like, you know, you can just like duet things on TikTok.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. I mean, I done it. It was literally for a joke. It was like, sent it into the group chat, and everybody was like, ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? Like, it was not meant to go out. And my friend was like, post it. Like, nah, he's like, post it. And mate, I swear to God, man, posted it, went gym, and by the time I came out from the gym, it was at like 6,000 likes on TikTok and stuff like that. And like, no, it's saying that like close to 1 million views and stuff, do you know?
Yeah.
But through that, it really kind of put me more in, because I was already in Celtic's radar through different stuff.
Yeah.
But that really cemented it. And then JD got me to do the kit launch.
That's right.
And it was just through that. Like, so I'm a talkative there. So when I got there, they're like, you know, I got that at 10. Shoot finished at 11. Well, my part of the shoot finished, and I was like, I'm not going home. I just said to them, I was like, is it all right if I just stay? And they were like, go ahead, you know?
Yeah.
But I really just stayed so I could see all the players, do you know what I mean?
So the players done it after
Yeah. So all the players so at my time, it was me and Bernabé at the same time. But then I knew like Callum McGregor, Matt O'Reilly and Starfit and all that were coming. So I was like, I'm staying, do you know what I mean? And then I just got talking to the JD guys, you know, and just by default, I guess, they just liked me. And now anything kind of relating to football, they just shout us there. So I was like in work a week before the game. And that's when I got an email be like, hey, Bemz, how you doing? We're just wondering, would you like to go to Germany next week? Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, you know, I need to think about it. You know, so that's how it all came to be, you know, and it was like just through JD and all 3 games, you know, so.
Yeah.
And I think if we had qualified, I would have went back out.
That's
amazing. Every time we've seen you as well, it's like I know you don't have a fucking private chopper or anything, but it seemed like you were just flying in, flying out in like 4 hours or something mad.
I think it was like, 10 days all in from Friday to, 11 days, 7 flights.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like,
flights.
Mate.
So were you coming back to like Scotland?
Bro, so see the game that you seen us at? Like, I flew in on a Friday morning.
Yeah.
Got there.
Because we met you in town, remember? Before as well, I
had literally just came off the flight. That's how I had my bag. So like, I knew a few of the boys who was there. And I
thought you were playing in the game. It looked like you were fucking arriving.
But literally, I just ran down and I was like, if I don't see my pals now, I'm not going to see them at all, you know? So that's why I just straight airport, straight into the fan zone. And then back to the hotel, changed to the game.
Yeah.
Got to my hotel at like 1 because the queue was like crazy to get out.
Yeah.
And then I was up at 5:30, back to the airport for a flight on a Saturday morning. Do you know what I mean? And then back out again on a Tuesday, home Thursday, back out Saturday, home Monday.
Did you do any gigs out there or anything?
Oh, no, mate.
Just football.
Catch that.
That's what people are asking us as well.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking mad? Of course not. We're literally pissed.
You had to enjoy it, you know what I mean? But no, like I literally just went out. The sole purpose was just football, do the stuff with JD, smash it, and go home. Do you know what I mean? And I think we're done well. So hopefully Scotland makes the World Cup and I can get flown out to America. That's the plan.
The weird thing is, when we seen you after the Scotland Germany game, you'd put your England top on. But
He's trying to get me cancelled.
So how long have you been in Scotland?
I'm 30 now, so 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So I moved to Stranraer when I was 14.
From London?
From London, yeah.
That's such a crazy journey, man.
This is him doing the trauma talking now. So from London to Stranraer, 14, and then when I turned 18, well, just before my 19th birthday, actually, moved to Ayr. Then I was in Ayr till I was 24, 25.
Yeah.
That's when I moved to Glasgow. But I moved to Glasgow the summer before COVID.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So literally, I got here, was chilling. I was like, I'm going to make music. Lockdown.
And then you're saying you didn't get COVID till Germany.
No. I mean, I've had COVID like 3 times. Man. My immune system hates me. Man. You know what I mean? Like, every time I beat it, I'm like, yeah, I'm strong on it. It's like, no, you're not. You know what I mean? So long time. So it's pretty much home now.
Aye.
Yeah.
And how was that when lockdown hit? Did that let you make more music? Do you have like a home studio or whatever?
Lockdown was the best thing that happened to me, man. Like, I feel so bad like saying that, and every time I say it, I always have to put like a disclaimer because like people died. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like for me, it was amazing. Do you know what I mean? Because like, think about it. Like, I'm sure everyone in here is obviously a creative, and we know that when you're first starting off, there's not a lot of money in it. You know, so I'm like working a full-time job, using my full-time job to fund, at this point, a music career. Do you know what I mean? Which I hadn't taken off at all, you know? And it was tough, you know, because you go work 9 till 6, you come home, you're like, oh, fuck's sake, I've got to make music now, you know? And then COVID hit. And then like, see the first month of COVID, I'd done what everyone done, just sat in the house, got absolutely steaming. You know? But see, by like the second month, I was like, wait, hold on a second. Like, I'm getting paid 80% of my wage to do fuck all. Like, to do absolute nothing. Yeah. Which technically means I'm getting paid 80% of my wage to make music. And that's how I seen it. You know, I'm like, oh, for once, I'm making money as a musician. Do you know what I mean? Like, totally. So I just sat in the house and, oh man, I like just made music, sent out like stupid amount of emails out. Saying this to my friends, I was like, think about it, right? Every single human being you ever wanted to get in contact with in the music industry just sat in the house. Do you know what I mean? Nobody can say, oh, I'm busy touring right now. No, you're not. Do you know what I mean? Like, so there was no excuse for anybody to not get back, do you know? So, I just sat in the house, was emails after emails after emails after emails. And then by the time COVID things started opening up again, I'd already kind of had like a manager at this point. Well, I guess he was really just my friend, but he was my manager, you know? And things just started clicking. People who we had reached out to when everything started opening up were like, oh, remember that Bemz guy? And that's literally how I ended up being Bemz. Yeah, because as soon as it started, it just didn't stop. Do you know what I mean? It was just literally gig after gig after gig after gig after gig. You know, so that's why I say COVID was very, very good for me. You know what I mean?
That's great. What were you doing? Like, what was your job?
Oh, mate, it was good. I used to work in the jewellers, mate. So I was in like Argyle Arcade punting diamonds. And 3-piece suit, the whole lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so it was pretty cool. Do you know, I actually feel bad for them because I worked there for like 2 years, but I think I only done like 6 months worth of work because COVID just kept on.
You timed that run perfectly.
Bro, like, I was there for like 4 months and then lockdown. Went back for another month, lockdown, do you know what I mean? And then I was like, okay, bye. You know, so no, it was good.
Did you get any discounts on diamonds?
Oh, mate, like
uncut Bemz.
Yeah. That's a series and a half. You know, see if I take that, I'm claiming copyright. You know what I mean?
BBC Scotland do not make that, by the way.
That is actually sensational. Holy shit. Let me take a note of that, man.
I want that to be a song on the next album, man.
For real, I said, oh, God, Bemz, that's funny. I'm like, I don't even know if I can even like say much about it because I don't want to like expose the jewelry trade, but the discounts were great, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so great. Basically, you're getting bumps from any diamond you buy, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I've heard that there's some family that owns all the diamonds or whatever, and it's like they're actually quite a sort of abundant resource, but they sort of they make them scarce by hoarding them, and that's why they're so expensive.
But it's like even the stores buy it hella cheap. Do you know what I mean? Like the markup on them is like
insane.
Like
popcorn.
Like bro, I was gonna like buy one for like my missus at the time because I was like pure in love. I'm gonna get married and that. And like, I could have got it at cost price. And basically, let's just put it like this: at the retail value, it was sitting at like 6.2k, but I would have got it for 1.5.
Fuck's sake!
Wow.
Yeah. So here's a tip: if you ever go into a jewelry shop, just ask them what's the best price you can do me for. They'll give you a discount.
Well, I've already bought a ring. I'm getting married in September, so I never
take that one back.
I wish you told me that.
Honestly, like
they saw him coming in the shop. There's no way they gave him a discount.
I gave them more money. I was like, is it only $6,000?
I'm telling you. See, once you sit down in there and you get it and you like it, just be like, so what's your best price?
Really?
See, especially if you look at it, there's so many jewelers in it, and if you walk out of that shop, you can just go into the next shop and buy the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But they obviously want the sale. So,
do you think you're the only rapper that talks about diamonds and all that, and is actually just because you've been working behind
from a customer service perspective? Whenever you hear rappers bragging about watches and diamonds and that, it's implied that they own them.
Yeah. But for me though, it's so funny because like you see, whenever like I'm out with any of my friends and we see all these like rappers who have like the diamond chains and stuff, I'm like, that's not real. I'm like, look at the way the diamond shines. Do you know what I mean?
You still get that wee eye thing.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a cubic zirconia. That's just ice. Do you know what I mean? Like, so no. Like, it's real good to obviously, like, for me, I just love selling, innit? You know, like, I come from a retail background, you know, and it's just like, anyway to just get the money in it. So if you give me anything, I'll try sell it. So I was like, diamonds, why not? Do you know what I mean? And then I got all my discounts on it and then cut, you know? But I mean, honestly, I still love them though. Like, I still go in here and there. Do you know what I mean? They're pure good people in there, you know? So yeah.
How long have you been rapping for? Because we obviously all do stand up, right? And it's like, I always feel like there's got to be parallels between like the music industry versus like stand up stuff.
industry.
One thing I've seen, I know you'd done a show a while ago that you'd sell out at the King Tut's.
Yeah.
And the thing I always think is like, because when we're starting out, like, you know, we'll build up to doing wee gigs on the circuit, and then you go and you do like a weekend at the stand. But people just come out and see some comedy at the stand, whereas it feels like, you know, to do King Tut's or whatever, you need to bring the audience in.
Yeah, it's tough, I'll tell you that for nothing, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like, see, to get up to the point where it's like King Tut's 300 people. Like when I first started, I started rapping like when I was like 12, 13, but like I wouldn't say I was rapping. I was just in my room with my brother. I was just like making up rhymes for banter. Like it was never a case of like going into a studio and recording. And it's so funny because it wasn't until I got to Stranraer that I actually started rapping.
It was such a fertile scene there.
I'm telling you, this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's very rare you hear someone say, my rap career started in Stranraer. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, man, it builds fucking character. Do you know what I mean? Because imagine being in Stranraer and being like, I want to be a rapper. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, and it wasn't until then that I actually started like making it. And again, I was making it, but I wasn't really like doing anything. It was just fun. Do you know what I mean? If we're being very honest, it was just, I can write some lyrics. Let's find some fat beat and put it behind it. Do you know what I mean? And then it wasn't until, again, I got to like air, that's when I started taking it a little bit more seriously, started coming up, watching it to Glasgow and everything like that. But at that point in time, I was still very much like naive to the music game, innit? Like, I try to explain this to people. There's music and then there's the music business. Do you know what I mean? And back then I was just like, oh, music. Do you know what I mean? If I make music, then someone will come and find me and I'll be rich and famous. Do you know what I mean? And well, as we all know, that's not how it works. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't until I then came to Glasgow, that's when you start realizing like, oh, okay, you actually have to move smart about it because, like you say, I could have put on a gig at that time and nobody would come because they don't know me. Nobody goes to King Tut's and say, let's just go to Tut's and spend money to see who's there. Do you know what I mean? It's like you really had to start building a community, and I don't like calling them fans, like supporters. Do you know, like people who generally like, I'm gonna go work for like 4 or 5 hours so I can afford to go pay for a ticket and come out and see Bemz. Do you know, and that's why. Like, King Tut's, for me, is actually funny you should bring that up. That was actually a special thing for me. Because I had played Tut's before, and I was like, I need to headline this one day, and I need to sell it out. And when we done Poetry Club, and we got 100, like, we sold 100 tickets. And I was like, oh my God, like, 100 tickets. Like,
So is that like a mixed bill with other acts and stuff?
Yeah. But, like, I'm very much like, it's a beautiful curse, because for me, I pure take it on me. So if I'm the headliner, I'm like, I don't want nobody else like selling tickets. Do you know what I mean? On some greedy thing. Because imagine a support act sell more tickets than you, you'd be raging. Do you know what I mean?
Also, what happens a lot in stand up when you start out is you'll do a gig and somebody will bring like 30 of their pals, and then as soon as they have been on, they'll fuck off.
Yeah. I don't want that for me. Do you know what I'm saying? So I really just take it upon myself, and I'm like, I need to push this. And it's a very unhealthy addiction, because it's like, we need to sell out, you know? And when we sold out Tut's, like we had a party for that, because it's such an iconic venue in Scotland, you know?
Yeah.
And to be able to have your name on that, like, mate, to be fair, I don't know why my name ain't up the stairs yet. I'm raging about it.
Stop it, Oasis.
Who cares about them? Do you know what I mean? But when we got it, it was like, wow, so there's actually 300 people in Scotland that actually want to come listen to me. Do you know what I mean? And then it went to SWG3 and we're done 500. And it was like,
That's great.
yeah, it was a grind, man. Like, I swear to God, it was like a month before the gig. It was 500 cap. A month before it, 170 tickets have sold. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, because the gig had been announced for like 4 months prior. Do you know what I mean?
We know this feeling, man.
Yeah. It's so tough, isn't it? And it's like, and 2 weeks to it, 240. And the promoters at the time were like, listen, just focus on putting on a good gig. And I'm like, fuck up, no chance. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, this gig has got to sell. Do you know what I mean? And mate, I swear to God, man, like right up until the last minute, tickets came offline at 4:30, and we had like 30 tickets left to sell. Nice. And then the rest went on the door, man. And I was sitting there like, bro, I was backstage and they came out, they were like, you saw that? I was like, oh. You know? But it's beautiful. It's like just knowing that you've, you know, got so many people wanting to like support you is something else. Because bro, to sell 10 tickets is amazing. Like I say this to all the youngsters. I'm like, if you can sell 10 tickets, you're doing better than most people. Do you know what I mean? So to get to a point where it's at like 5, you're like, Jesus flipping Christ. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
See, when you're talking about like this first Tuts gig, you're like, I need to build a community. I need how what were your steps there? What were you trying to build? Like, how did you go about it?
I realized very, very quickly. Well, to be fair, I realized it a little bit at a younger age that if you were just like a normal person, right, people would just gravitate to you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
not trying to be someone else.
Yeah,
just
like,
be yourself.
I spent a lot of time in my younger age like rapping about, yeah, I got money, I got girls,
diamonds,
I'm rich. You know what I mean? Like all that nonsense, bro. And I was like, and I remember the day very vividly, like when I actually made the switch. Like I swear to God, like I had a gig coming up, and I was sitting on a bus listening to my own music, right? And I was just cringing. I was like so embarrassed because I'm like, bro, I'm talking about having all these cars and I'm on a bus. Do you know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong with a bus or whatever, but it's like,
rap about the bus.
do you see what I'm saying? It's like, I'm just like, yo, I'm here with the fancy cars. I'm here to talk about money, and I know I just ate like 20p Tesco noodles for my lunch. Do you know what I mean? So after that, I was just like, actually, you know what? If I actually stop, you know, being the person I think people want me to be, and be the person that I actually am, then by default, people will gravitate to that. Do you know what I mean? And like the right people who your music reach, who, you know, because for example, like I love not JD, sorry.
Come on, you're not on the time now.
I know what happened there. I love Jay-Z.
It's been on YouTube. This includes product placement.
If you see this, sponsor us again, please.
You Celtic cows.
I'll send you my address. I need all 3 of them, right? Cheers. Like, what's with Jay-Z, you know? And I liked his earlier stuff when he was rapping about his life coming up and stuff. Now he's rapping about buying artwork for like 4 or 5 million, and I'm like, I can't relate to that. So I'm not gravitating towards that anymore, you know? And that's what it really was. So imagine at a small scale when you don't have all these things and you're rapping about it. The people around you, 1, can't relate to it, and 2, they know you. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, bro, I can imagine people listening to my music and be like, bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, you were asking us to borrow you a $5 like 2 days ago, do you know what I mean? And then you're talking about how he's got all this cash, you know? And so by default, people just started gravitating, and then obviously you start putting yourself in the right places, do you know what I mean? Like, and just, one of the most important things I noticed was just being a decent human being, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, just actually, like, realizing that you're not special, like I'm not better than anybody. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you walk into a room and you just talk to people on a level, people respect that and people love that. Do you know what I mean? And like people want to come support because, well, they might think you're a good guy, so they'll come out to your shows and stuff. You know, so that really, really helped me, you know, like grow my fan base as well.
That's great. Right.
How have you found like the Scottish rap scene? Because obviously, like in recent years, particularly, obviously like grime and stuff like that, it's got like massive and, like some really breakthrough acts and stuff like that. And like, were you like Stormzy and all these kind of gigs and all that? Were you influenced more by them, or were you like what was the sort of Scottish rap scene like?
Do you want to know what's so funny? Watching his head tick, trying to figure out who's the cool London rappers?
I know it's Stormzy. I know
Dizzy Rascal.
he retired to playing for Man U and he started rapping. Right? That's what happened. No.
It's actually so funny. Also, the
Dave,
pictures, like,
hang on. He's faced Streatham.
mate, he's my claim to fame, by the way.
Is
Look
he?
at this. Look at this. So,
Give me why phone him? When Vader phoned his dad.
watch this. So I grew up on on UK rap. Like, so I was listening to Giggs because Giggs grew up around the same area that I did. Do you know what I mean? He's a Peckham boy. And
I thought you were going to say Stranraer.
no.
He's the Kilmarnock, Dave. I think.
Oh, he follows you, Santan
but
Dave.
Watch this though. Watch this.
Oh shit.
Since 2015, bro. Yeah, like, me, honest, no. This is what's so embarrassing about that story, right? It's like, I found this wee guy, he's like 16 at the time, right? And he's rapping, and I'm like, bro, this kid is crazy. You know what I mean? He had like, 1,000 followers on Twitter and stuff, and I was just like, fuck it, just reached out to him. I'm like, hey, yo, how you doing, bro? You know, blah, blah, blah. I like your music. Let's work on stuff together, innit? And I sent him some beats and shit, and he was like, basically, long story short, was like, this is pure shite. Do you know what I mean? He was sending offers and that, and I was like, aye, sound. So I sent him some more, and he was like, this is better, but like, I'm in the process of working on my EP, so when I finish my EP, let's pick up the conversation again.
Yeah. Drops
the 6-path EP. Drake does a remix of one of the songs. Fair to say he's not replied to my DM. but to go back to the question you asked, well, no, like, obviously I was looking at the people who was making rap music in Scotland and that, but like, again, like, I just couldn't really like relate to it to a certain degree because like, you know, a lot of them are talking about like schemes and stuff like that, but like the way they talk about it is different from the way like people in London talk about it. And for me, it was a whole lot more interesting because I could relate more to them. Do you know what I'm saying? And, you know, and at the time as well, I was like, whatever the best person can do here, I 100% believe that I can do it better. Do you know what I mean? And that's not even on some like downgrading and saying that they were shite or whatever, but I was just like, yeah, this is easy pickings for me. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't really a case of like taking it in as such, but I was very much like aware of who was doing what. Do you know what I mean? Especially at the young age. Like, so when I was in Stranraer, like I was listening to like Mad Hat, Magor, Loki, before he became Darren and that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I actually played a show with him. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like I knew of all these cats because I'm like, these are the people who are essentially like pioneering this sound in Scotland, you know. Mad Hat, I always have to give props to him. He was the first Scottish person that I know to go do a fire in the booth. Do you know what I mean? Like down.
Nice.
So he was like holding it down for Scotland. But there was also that, like, it was so funny because I actually asked this question I won't say like about a year or so on Twitter, and it literally caused like World War 7, because I was like, right, can we just like define what Scottish hip hop is? Do you know what I mean? Is it like people who are in Scotland making hip hop, or is it like white people who sound Scottish making hip hop? And mate, it kicked off, man. Like, yeah, because bro, like, because I feel like a lot of the older heads felt like they had like kind of shun away from like. So, like, there's certain hip-hop events that will happen in Scotland and they won't book me. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, because I guess they don't think that I'm Scottish hip-hop because I'm from London. But there's other people who see me as a Scottish rapper. Do you know what I mean? So...
Do you ever think about putting on the accent?
No, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I think that's what they want, though. You know, and I feel like for them, it's like, well, if you don't rap and, like, what's happening, mate? You know what I mean? like, then you can't technically be classed as a Scottish hip hop artist. And hey, fair dues to them, innit? Do you know what I mean? If that's what they're on, do you know what I mean? But so for me, I never really like, from the get-go, I noticed that as well, and I was like, right, okay, these guys are doing what they're doing in their own lane, and I have to respect it. But like I say, I can't really look up to them as such because, well, they're just doing their thing over there. innit? So we just kind of just started doing our thing, and so now there is a clear divide. Like I'm telling you, so now you see, just look at it. There's like those guys and these guys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just doing our thing. But I think every single movement is for the benefit of the rap culture in Scotland.
Aye, the scene in general.
Yeah.
Do you think Scottish like rap in terms of when they're rapping with the Scottish accent? Do you think that would ever make it big like grime has?
100%. Well, I mean, if you think way back when rap was coming out of America, everyone in London and England was starting to sound American.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then it got to the point where okay, let's use grime from like Jungle and D&B and stuff, and that was born, and it was cool to be a London rapper and rap in your own accent. Now, I think what's sort of the problem with Scotland is nobody is like made it.
Yeah.
In the well, I don't want to say what's because nobody's made it, because people have like different ideas of what making it is. Do you know what I mean? But nobody's ever hit the charts rapping in a Scottish accent. Do you know what I mean? Like nobody's ever went on and dominated anything sounding Scottish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think until that starts to happen, that's when people will start respecting it a little bit. Because if you look at what's called Liverpool, they have like rappers who rap in their own accent and they kill it. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not trying to pretend to be anything else. And I think the Scouse accent is worse than the Scottish accent. if we're being very honest, do you know what I mean? But it's just obviously because it's hit the mainstreams and a lot, so people accept it. Whereas for us, nothing like that's happened yet.
Yeah.
You know, like nobody's broken.
Saying we need like a grime Jerry Cinnamon. So
Hell
of a concept.
I think it can be done though. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I just think like the talent overall can be better. Do you know what I mean? And that's including me. Like I feel like for like every artist, you can grow in the way you write your songs and how you deliver it and how you promote it. You know, like nobody's done that yet. I mean, we had 001s who were like these drill group from Govan Hill and stuff, and they were, I guess, probably been our best bet since, because they actually got a label and like a deal and stuff like that, you know. So the more things that happen, I think the more people will actually be like, oh yeah, like there's a scene in Scotland, and people will feel more comfortable rapping in their accent, you know.
Because there is a Scottish cringe when it comes to like the accent, even when you see it in TV or actors or whatever.
Yeah,
we've just got this inherent like, it's maybe quite a self-hate kind of thing.
And also like I fear that people will not understand what you're saying
exactly.
as well, you know?
And I wonder if it's the audience or just don't let it happen because...
I don't know, man. Like, because I listen to French music and I don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about. I just know it sounds good. Like, do you know what I mean? So that's the thing. It's like if it's packaged right and promoted right, I think it'd be fine, you know? Like, I mean, look at, what's his name? What's that guy's name? Shogun. He went crazy big, and people were in the comments like, what is this cunt talking about? But they were still checking it out and they still liked it and they still enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's doable, but it will just take time and like the right infrastructure. Because right now, I mean, there's no infrastructure.
And there's just not enough gigs and stuff, and not enough.
Well, like if you generally think about it, it's like anything, isn't it? So we live in Scotland and like rap music is like at the bottom of the barrel, isn't it? If you're not making indie music, if you're not making electronic music and every other thing like that, you're probably not gonna do well in Scotland if you just look at it, you know. How many indie bands have made it from Scotland? Crazy amounts. How many electronic DJs have made it, you know? Like, it's just, that's the infrastructure for it in Scotland so far. So the powers that be invest money in that, well, because it makes money. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean about all the difference between music and the music business. Do you know what I mean? Because the rap scene isn't financially viable yet for people. They're just it's just there. And that's what I mean, until 1 or 2, 3 people start making big boy money, that's when people will be like, oh, let's get in, you know? Because the culture for it is here. Like, I went once to a Little Sims gig, O2 Academy, sold out 2,500 tickets. Lil Kana has just sold out 4,000 tickets. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like the people are there, but the visibility as such isn't, you know, and that's because, you know, nobody's made it big. Do you know what I mean? So
it's also a good niche there that for somebody to break through, because it's there for the taking, for sure.
100, but again, if you then take it, it then gets to a point where let's use me for example. We're celebrating what's going to selling 500 tickets. There's indie boys selling like the Barrowlands 3 times in a week, and that's an achievement to them. But for us, we're like 500 tickets, yes, man. Do you know what I mean?
You need to start somewhere. You need to build
No, but that's
up.
what I mean, though. But it's like because there's been a path walked by people before, it makes it easier for people to follow.
Yeah.
Whereas in our scene, well, there really hasn't been that path that you can look at and say, oh, that's how you do it. That's how you get there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
You mentioned the Barrowlands there. Me and you had done a gig across for the Barrowlands. It was my rap debut. That was wild, that gig, wasn't it?
God, yeah.
So, can you remember the name of the place? It's right across
The
the
Gate.
The Gate.
It's
The
called
Gate,
the
yeah.
Gate. Aye. It's called The Gate, and it's right across the Barrowlands. It's a cool pub, but we turned up, and the guy says to me before you got there,
Was this a Burns night thing?
Yeah.
they had it was an alternative Burns night, and it was like they wanted to do they don't want to do this traditional stuff. They want to have a bit of modern stuff, right? So I came in, and it's like quite a kind of narrow, sort of long pub, and most of the bit is the bar, and then there's just like basically a fire exit, and the guy's like, oh, do you want to stand here and this is the stage? And I'm like, all right, but I'm pure miles away from everybody. And then I'm like, I guess this is as good as anywhere. And then he comes up and he goes, I've just had a thought. I'll put you behind the bar. Sitting up doing my whole set.
Tea towel over the shoulder.
It works, though.
I
It
did,
works,
honestly,
man, yeah.
because I'm like saying to you, I'm like, I'm going to dye my arse here. This is going to be brutal, you know. And I went up and I think my opening joke was like, I says, I'm the first person to work behind this bar that's get paid more than minimum wage. Minimum wage. And then I was just like fucking saying I'll pour people pints and all that, but that was good fun. But you killed it, man. That was great.
You weren't rapping behind the bar, were you?
No, man. I was
Because you
like,
remember we were saying you could go on top of it?
And everybody was like, that is a safety hazard. Do you know what I mean? Because I was pure knocking back the tequila and like everything. Like, by the time I got on the mic, I was like, yeah, I enjoyed that night. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it was such a laugh. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know about you, but I find those type of gigs like harder because it's like it's so small. Do you know what I mean? I think there was like 40 people there,
and it's a lot of kind of influencers and folk that
and
get
I'm just
invited
like-
to Paul Dock. He's always at these fucking things.
bro, like,
40 Paul Dogs.
do you know what I mean? It's like, are you guys even gonna like? Do you guys even like rap music? And plus, like, bro, deep it. It's a Burns night, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what type of poetry do you think this is? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Do you remember what happened to me when I was on stage as well? Fucking, there was a phone. Somebody left a mobile phone on the desk, and it was like somebody had. It was obviously the owner's phone because there was a notification came up that I seen while I'm behind the bar. And it was a lassie
Get
who was
this
in the
cunt off.
crowd had tagged him, so she's doing this while I'm doing my set. I'm like, fucking heckled for fucking Instagram post.
she was trying to do it on the slide. Now. He's looking at the notification like, fuck.
It was funny though because I could just use it and I'm like, right, cool, this is eating up another couple of minutes.
How long did you have to do?
I can't even remember. I think probably about 15, 20 or something, but it was good, wasn't it? Like, and then
It was a laugh.
it's like with these kind of corporate ones, like you do well in spite of thinking that it's going to be hard, and then there's always a point where you go, right, I've done near enough the time. Let's wrap it up before nobody's going to thank me for
Don't
doing an extra
overstay
5
my
minutes
welcome.
and
Yeah, exactly.
fucking losing the room, and then everyone's happy.
Just wrap it up. No, it was the same with me, man. I was like, go in, complete mission, go home. Do you know what I mean? And it was great. I'd happily do it again, man. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know, since I've been listening to that Zidane song of yours all the time, I've got it in my pre-show
It's a banger.
playlist. I always
It was on before our show on Sunday.
we played it before the Pavilion in Glasgow and everything.
So PRS is coming in then. You have just baited yourself on camera right now.
As long as you play it before the show, it's not technically part of the performance. Otherwise, I've got a lot of. I'm going to be hearing for Jay-Z as well.
Now that song is actually hilarious how that came to be, man. It was a guy from Aberdeen who produced that, and he like just DM'd me like, "Do you want to work on a song together?" And he sent me that beat, and I was like,
You're his dev.
"Huh?"
You're his dev.
Essentially, yeah. But the
Thiago
difference
Silva.
was
You didn't tell him to fuck up.
Yeah, I went back and I was
You
like,
stopped texting him since JD got in touch.
and I was like, bro, this is actually like okay, but I don't really know what I'm gonna do on it because like back then I wasn't like I don't really make a lot of like happy music. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm just like pure depressed bastard. Do you know what I mean? So I'm listening
That's a
to
hallmark of
rap.
I'm listening to it and I'm like, I can't talk about pure sadness on this. And I swear to God, it took me like 40 minutes to write that song, like, and I never thought it was gonna be like anything. Do you know what I mean? It ended up being my biggest song. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, bloody hell. Celtic even used it in the third kit launch.
Did they?
Yeah.
That's class.
But no, it was pure pish though, because they couldn't use the no, because they couldn't use the lyrics, because I'm talking about Zidane in it, and Zidane is signed to Adidas on a lifetime contract. He doesn't have anything to do with Celtic.
Oh.
Right?
That's
Do you know
mental.
that, bro,
Yeah.
it was like, I was like, can we not just, and they were like, no. And I'm like,
If only
why?
it dropped about John McGinn, he's better than Zidane. According to Scotland.
Dude, honestly, it was heartbreaking, because I was like, off, and they're like, yeah, because they can't even put the music title on it or whatever, because it's called Zidane. Do you know what I mean? I was like, bastard. But still a good one though.
Yeah.
Filter, man. I feel like we would be remiss not to get your opinion on this, given that we don't often have rap. But the first time we've had a musician, I think, in here.
I think
Yeah,
so.
And I want to know the biggest, obviously, story in hip hop this year, I believe, would be the beef between Drake and Kendrick. I want to get your thoughts on it, man.
I mean, it's hilarious, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, imagine getting called a paedophile and everybody's pure dancing to it. I think it's been number one for like the last, like, what, 4 odd weeks or something like that. And then he just dropped the music video and then it went back up to number one.
Yeah.
You'd be absolutely fucking raging, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? But I love it, man. I think it's good for rap, because even, like you say, people who probably don't even listen to hip hop know about this beef, you know, and Kendrick clearly won. I love Drake, like, and I love Kendrick too, but like, Drake makes music that you can just vibe to. Like, I wouldn't really call him like a clinical rapper. Like, he can be, like, don't get me wrong, but like, Kendrick Lamar is just crazy when it comes to like, well, just rapping. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
lyrics.
his music isn't for everybody, because, well, I mean, I don't listen to him all the time, because, bro, it's not every single day I need somebody preaching to me, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I just want to listen to music for fun and that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's the difference between them. But
Is Kendrick a conscious rapper? Would you describe him as?
yeah. Like he's very much like, you know, he raps about life as it is. Do you know? So he done what's called It's a Pimp a Butterfly, which is basically about being black in America and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? What's gonna Mr. Morale? Damn, like, oh, bro, like, all these albums are like classic albums. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have any album that you're like, do you know what I mean? Because they're like full body projects, you can tell. Whereas Drake has like about 5 albums that are like solid, but he's got all these little projects there that you're just kind of like, oh, right, you're just making this because you can, not because you actually care about it. Do you know what I mean? So, like, numbers wise, Drake washes Kendrick every single day. Do you know what I mean? But culturally, Kendrick wins, and I think that was the most important thing about the beef, because like, Kendrick just literally just used the culture against him, and now everybody's looking at Drake like, you're a fucking paedophile, innit? You know, like, now.
Do you know, the thing is, this is the part of there's a collateral damage aspect to the beef, though, isn't it? Because, like you, I'm like, I love both of them, to be honest. Like, I listen to them all the time, but I'm like, right, okay, so Kendrick's accusing him of being a pedo, Drake's accused him of being a wife beater, so it's like, technically you can't listen to either of them without feeling guilty, and we've already lost Kanye.
Kanye, for real, man, you know? But Drake was like, your best pal's pumping your wife, do you know what I mean? Like, literally, and then like, Kendrick, what's called Meet the Grahams was probably like, mate, it was probably one of like the most painfulest thing I've ever listened to, because like, mate, imagine someone comes on rap and basically tells your mom that you're a useless waste of space, you know, and says to your son, I'm sorry that your dad is an absolute stupid idiot. Do you know what I mean? Like, mate, that's gonna be there forever.
Are those the actual lyrics?
Mate, pretty much, man. He literally talks, mate, he talks to all of them. He's like, mate, I'm really sorry that your dad is a pure beast in that. Honestly, it's so cold, mate. Do you know what I mean? And then he makes a song that they play in a club. They're Not Like Us. And he's just calling you an, mate,
Have you ever had beef?
Yeah, but no, like, for me, I'm a firm believer of like, until we've like retired our like parents and stuff, like, there's not, like, you can't beef me, like, bro, if you live in a scheme, like, I don't care about what you've got to say, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like until like we make money, that's what we can beef. Right now, what we're gonna beef about?
Yeah.
Oh, I rap better than you. Okay, great, good for you, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, so,
I get the first bus and you get the fucking Avondale.
do you see what I mean? Like, for me, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that sells Avondale.
So see, when people try to call me out, I'm just like, bro, like, we've not even made it yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, can we at least wait until we're famous and then we can make money from the beef rather than like now and be like
Waste of energy.
bro, for me, it just doesn't make sense. So when I hear what's good people take what's good sort of jabs and stuff, I'm just like, all right, do you feel good about yourself now? Like, have you got that out? Are we okay? Great. Because more time, bro, like, I'm not like hard or whatever, but like, if you're gonna say something, like, just come say it to my face, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, because then we can sort it out. But when we're rich and like, think of how much money Kendrick and Drake have made from this. Do you know what I mean? Like, then I want beef with everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we're gonna sell records from beefing, let's go, you know. But
is that an argument though to start a fake beef with somebody so you could both like go back and forth and then you both rise
again,
up?
I've got DMs of a specific rap group who actually tried that. Like, they pure DM'd us and they were like,
do you want to have a beef? Like,
do you want to like go at it? And I'm like, no. Like, but what's gonna, because I don't want to like bait them out, innit? Because they're quite cool, but like, it was predominantly like about football type things. So obviously, like, it was coming out about me being like, Celtic that flapper. Do you know what I mean? And these guys were like Rangers fans, and they were known as like Rangers that flappers. And then the guy was like in my DMs, he was like he quote tweeted something that I done, and then he DM'd me like, mate, this is just like banter in that, eh? Do you know what I mean? Like I was like, right. And then the son and I ended up like picking it up because like, well, they just love anything that strip it. Do you know what I mean? And me, he was like back in my DMs like, oh my God, look at this, man. Look at the publicity we're getting after this. Do you want to go back and forth? And I was like, no. like, that's actually one of the most embarrassing thing I've ever heard in my life. Do you know what I mean? But like, so yeah, things like that. It's just,
if you want to call them out by their name right now, we can use it for publicity.
You do like a sort of fucking theatre show. It's like, yeah, I'm saying I'm not a Billy meets you're a Tim meets fucking Hamilton. It's like a rapping
but nah, like literally, like beefing and stuff like that. Like, I just don't have energy for it. And plus, man, I'm a dad. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine my daughter going to school and they're like, hey, your dad's pure beefing. Nah, no chance.
I've often thought it would be interesting to see two comics beefing, and because it probably would generate more attention. And you do sort of sometimes when people do jokes about each other, or whatever.
Like Stuart Lee was talking about like
Gervais or even Acast are doing it or whatever. But like, but it'd be interesting if people just had, you know. But I suppose it get to, you know,
who would you go for?
I don't know.
Who's your biggest up?
No, like everybody. You don't want to single anyone out in case they don't like him on the podcast. But it would be interesting, wouldn't it? It would be interesting.
Man,
I've had a few DMs.
Start it, man.
I don't know, man. It'd be too harsh though, because then what if somebody just writes a better joke about you than you've got?
Well, that's the choice of it, no? Do you know what I mean?
Then you need to get
just have to come back better.
Yeah, just call him a paedophile.
To be fair, how do you actually come back from that? If someone actually just comes on wax and calls you, you're a nonce. Do you know what I mean? Just straight up.
That's Drake had to address it, and then but see, it's like that thing. It's like once you deny something, then it's like, oh well, you're addressing it and saying it as it's an unwinnable situation.
The way he addressed it was a bit mad though. He was like, "Hi, I knew you guys were going to talk about me." Like, I was like, "Wait, Epstein and that?" You're like, "Wait, so you knew they were going to talk about you? Like, you're Epstein? That's a crazy thing, isn't it?" Yeah. And I think one of his boys has got like a record for like being a nonce or something like that. So it just wasn't looking good for him.
Was it not the whole Millie Bobby Brown thing? He was, hanging out with her when she was like 15.
It's pure mad because like, I'm glad that he's going through this because now I've got to be cautious because it's like, imagine like, no, but imagine you meet your pal and your pal's wee sister wants to take a photo of you or with you. And then you put on the internet, and then some random person is like, nonsense. Like, this is the thing, innit? Because like the Millie Bobby thing, it was clearly like he just liked like Stranger Things in there, and he took a picture with all the cast, but they're like,
Yeah, pedo.
literally, man, do you know what I mean? So yeah, but see, because of that, and because people just don't like him, he will never beat the pedo allegations. Do you know what I mean? And then he came out, no, hold on, I'm sorry, his other line was like, I'm too famous to be a pedo.
Yeah.
Never had a Michael Jackson, bro.
This is what I'm saying.
He fucking goes on about Michael Jackson all the time.
Yeah,
He's always
it's
talking
like,
about
bro,
him.
like, that's not a solid case because like there's been a lot of famous pedophiles. It actually turns out that the more famous you are, the more likely that you are. Do you know what I mean? So, oh man, bless him, man.
We mentioned about like Kendrick being a conscious rapper. Steve's got a bit of stand up where he talks about self-conscious rap, right? Do you want to explain it, Bemz?
So basically, there's a thing in a lot of songs that I like. I've noticed it in quite a lot of songs where they'll do a bit of wordplay or like a pun, and then they'll say "get it." You know, they'll ask the audience if they get it. I don't know if you've ever done that, but it's really funny. So the first one I think you sent me was an example.
If Faith had twins, she'd probably have 2 packs. Get it? 2 packs.
So that was Brooklyn's Finest. Eminem does it all the time. He does it in like a few songs. And then there's loads of different examples of it. I just think it's really funny that they're like doing this like good bit of wordplay, and then they have to stop the song and be like, "Did you get the joke? Did you get the joke?"
Because we couldn't do that on stage, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. We can't do that.
Did you get it?
Did you get the joke?
Why not? Hold on, there. This is actually what I need to actually ask you. Is like, how do you write jokes? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you feel sit in your house like, haha, funny? Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes. But if you're out and about, you take a note on your
I usually
phone.
just have a thought and write it down, and then you sit at a gig and take it from there.
And just hope for the best, I think.
Because I think you're more of a person who would sit down and physically write out.
Try and do that, but I don't always know how efficient that is, because often you do it like you sit and you put in your hours, and then it'll usually come to you in the shower or when you're driving or whatever. Yeah. But there's like, I suppose like songwriting to an extent, that there is a kind of structure in terms of like we stand up, you've got like a premise or a setup, and then you've got the kind of take on it, and then you've got you do the punchline or the act out or whatever it is. So there is a kind of structure, and like you kind of keep that in mind as you've got a kind of raw idea, and then you go, right, so how do I set this up, and then what's a fucking specific example and all this kind of shit. So there is a sort of...
The more you do it, the more innate that becomes, because you're used to doing the same thing over and over again.
Absolutely.
So,
how do you do your lyrics? Is it?
For me, the hardest thing about writing songs is the first line. Do you know what I mean? As soon as I get the first line, I just write. And then I'll write and write and write and write and write and write and write.
And are you physically writing?
On my phone. Yeah. I just sit there, I'm like...
Would you have a beat first, or would you do it?
No, I'll just write.
Right, okay.
I'll write and write and write. I mean... I was in the studio like 2 weeks ago, and the beat was made, and then we wrote what's good to it. But most times I'm like in my house, like as you say, if I'm in the shower or I'm like walking, I'm just like, I'll see something and it will just trigger it, and I'm like, oh, let me get that down. Do you know what I mean? And as soon as I get that line down, I'll just go and go and go. And then if we get a beat, I'm like, oh, that sounds nice. Do you know what I mean? And then we'll just put it together and go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, see, because I write so much. Like I've got a song, what's called with the Snuts.
Nice.
The verse that I put on it, I wrote like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just never had anything that...
Didn't have a place for it.
Yeah, I didn't have a place for it.
Kind of
We do that all
similar
the
to
time.
jokes as well. Like, we'll have stuff we thought of fucking 10 years ago, and then you go back to it and you find a place for it.
Yeah, and you're just like, this is it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that song, I just took the lyrics and I just stuck it, and it fitted perfect. Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, great, that's that, But other times, I will just sit, get a beat, and go and structure it. I'll be like, all right, okay, this is the verse, this is the hook.
Would you ever have like a story or anything you'd want to talk about, or like
so that's why
something?
That's why the first line is important, because the first line for me sets up the whole song. It's like, if I'm going to talk about money, best believe in that first line, there will be something that references that.
Yeah.
And then everything else comes after that. Do you know what I mean? So, it's quite tough, because I know people who just go in and freestyle, which is something that I can't do.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I need that structure of like, right, I know what I'm saying or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But for me, first line, as soon as I get it, it's easy.
Nice.
Have you ever done this? Because I have. It's sometimes when I'm listening to a lot of rap, I'll come up with a couple of bars and I'll put it in my notes, Like, obviously, I'm never going to use it, but I'm like,
Well, you'll
that's a
come
good
up-
bar, you know?
I do not do that.
I knew you in the. I'm like, yeah, fucking riches and bitches, that rhymes.
I wonder if rappers have ever hit on that rhyme before.
No, but like occasionally, because it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, see if you're ever like reading like an autobiography or something, and you start sort of narrating your own life because you could actually
do that,
like usually when I'm, no, you fucking do. People don't know what I'm talking about, and then you're listening to a lot of rap, and then you start just like thinking about like so sometimes the occasion.
Have you got a few examples to show us?
I could look and see. I could look and see. Like, Ben,
man,
would you
you
think
can
of these? Would you think of these? Because I would need to have literally wrote like rap or something next to it.
Type in bitches and see that.
Exactly.
Don't shout out at the mouth. Do you know what I mean? Like,
A bit, man.
see, I really want to learn stand up
Yeah.
I think you'd be great.
because, like, I cannot try do it at shows. So see, when prime example, I played the Barrowlands first time supporting the Snuts, right?
Yeah.
A gig that I actually turned down initially, I didn't want to do because I was like, why the fuck they've got a rapper supporting an indie band, right? So I get on stage and I'm like, okay, I already know this is going to be tough. And I'm like, so does anybody like rap music? And it was just like, tumbleweed, man. And I was just like, oh, do you know what I mean? And I looked at my DJ and I was like, after I was like, that would have been a good time to like, just fling a joke in and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, just make people laugh because once they laugh,
You can't find it.
nah, he better have it.
I get so jealous watching musicians do banter between songs.
Yeah.
Because firstly, I think they get away with murder. They get really easy laughs
Right.
at gigs where people aren't expecting it. And also, it's annoying because they're doing what we do in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But we can't just like do a rap between bits. So like do a song like we
Yeah.
don't have that extra gear of talent to lean on. Do you know what I mean? Like stay in
Yeah.
your
He
lane, man. He does. He does.
Apart from Jennings.
Come and see my front show this year, guys. Wee bit of
Bars on that.
some
Straight
bars.
out of Clydebank.
No, but honestly, I would love that because I think it would be perfect. Just like in between songs, just we joke headed, man. Do you know what I mean?
I think just start trying stuff out, man.
Yeah.
You got a
That's-
song coming anyway. Fuck it.
That's what
Yeah,
they said
true.
Billy Connolly did. He
Right,
used to
did,
do
didn't
a song. He was a folk musician, and then he would do wee stories between each song.
get shorter and the jokes
Stories get longer.
Yeah, and then he became a comedian.
But
So that
Lucy
could be
Paldi
it.
does it as well, like because I've seen him live before, and like he is really funny between the songs, but it's like it's just obviously it's a different thing. Although I bet you, I think he would be quite good at stand up as well. I think,
Yeah.
it's just it's
But
like
I don't
everyone.
think he's even trying to be funny though. That's the worst part. Do you know what I mean? You're just like,
Just
that's
natural.
just you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just a funny guy.
But that's what people want. Like you were
Yeah.
saying, people gravitate
Authentic, innit?
towards authenticity. It's the same with stand up as well.
I think that's the same way with almost anything these days, and that's why, like, obviously building yourself up online is the thing because people want to feel like they know you and feel like they've discovered you and all that as well. Whereas it used to be like you get put on by the telly or this or that, and like it's like they're telling you who to like. But now people, it's almost better if they feel like they found you, even if you obviously go on and do stuff, on the TV or whatever. But like, and in fact, if you do that after they found you, it's like, oh, it's our
Yeah.
guy or whatever.
Yeah.
you know?
I've been a fan from the get go. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you this as well, like because you were saying about the Snuts gig, you're saying that it's going to be a tough gig.
Yeah.
Like for us, like a tough gig, we can feel it immediately because the audience aren't laughing or you get heckled or whatever. How would a tough gig for you be if they're not like dancing and stuff or they're not singing along or?
Nah, well, I mean, so a lot of the tough gigs that I've had has been gigs that are not mine, so I don't really expect them to sing along anyway. So let's use prime example, the Snuts show, which was probably, I swear, the toughest gig of my life, just because, well, bro, I'm a rapper, and you've just stuck me in front of like 1,000 people who want to listen to guitar, do you know what I mean? And listen to you sing about Glasgow and that, do you know?
Yeah.
And I'm pure talking about come ride on my stubble, do you know what I mean? So like for me, going up there, I'm like, right, I know this is gonna be brutal, but like I've got 30 minutes and I just need to just power through it. And when for me, I'll finish a song and it's like just that one guy in the back, like,
Right,
do you know what I
okay.
mean? And it's like, right,
So if there's
okay.
not like a pop after a song, then you're like, oh,
yeah. I'm like,
dying up here.
I'm
kind of
like,
thing.
yeah, it's gonna be tough, but bro, once you're up there, I can't walk off stage. Do you know what I mean? I can't not perform. So it's like, just do it. And I have this rule for me where it's like, no matter how tough it is, so like, if I'm playing in front of 1,000 people, I want to leave there with at least 10, 20 new fans. Like, that's how I see it. So for me, it's like, I don't even need the whole room to like me.
Yeah.
As long as I can just get like some people.
Then
You just play it as if you are smashing it.
Yeah, yeah, well, because I feel like if you don't, the crowd will also know that. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, if you don't give it 100%. So let's say, for example, they didn't like you to start off with, and then you just started half-assing it. They're not going to like you by the end of it anyways. Do you know what I mean? Whereas it's like, if they don't like me at the beginning, well, I've got 30 minutes to at least make sure that they remember who I am. Do you know what I mean? And by default, it's worked for me, you know, where it's like, it's been shite at the beginning, then by the end, people are like, oh, that's that guy. I never usually listen to rap music, but you're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That for me is like what I strive for every single gig. Obviously, at my own gigs, I'm like, this is easy, innit? Do you know what I mean? Because yous are here for me. Like, you have to like me. Do you know what I mean? But like doing all those different ones is tough. Like, I remember doing Reading and
the festival.
Yeah, the festival.
Nice.
And
that must be a fun experience to do a festival.
Doing a festival.
Oh, mate, so this is where it gets bloody crazy, right? So mate, I'm sitting in the taxi, mate, and they're like moving my
Do you think you can swear on this as well?
No, I'm not gonna lie. I've been swearing a lot. I mean, kind of like just like keeping it like,
this is flipping ridiculous.
Yeah, you can say pedo, but you can't say fuck.
Parental advisory, explicit content on this.
So like, I'm driving down there, and my artist liaison person, mate, they've changed my set times. Like, before we've left Glasgow, they've changed my slot like 4 times, right?
Oh, right.
And I'm like, this isn't great. Do you know what I mean? Because 1 minute is early, 1 minute is late, so on and so forth. But cool.
What would you rather be on later, do you think, or earlier?
It depends, innit? Because festival ones are tough, because if you are on later, there's more chance you're clashing with someone who's bigger.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But if you're on early, there's more chance nobody's there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're there, and they announced that they've got a special guest on my stage, and I'm like, okay, great, cool, whatever. We get there, and they announce the special guest is Lil Connor. But Lil Connor, I'm on like before Lil Connor. And I'm like, how the fuck did this happen? Do you know what I mean? Because it was the BBC introducing stage. It was just meant to be like, we guys in that, you know what I mean? Like, it was like up-and-coming musicians in that. And now you've just fucked Lil Connor in the middle of it, and you've got me on. And by the time I got on stage, mate, the thing was mobbed. Like, mate, like, I'll show you a picture of it. It definitely looked good for socials, because I was like, yeah, these people think this is me. Do you know what I mean? But like, mate, when I swear to God, I shat myself. I was like, because again, prime example, doing the Snots in Scotland is one thing. Doing a big crowd outside of your own city, town, like country is completely different, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is gonna be tough, do you know? And by God's grace, by the end of it, they were like, ooh, Bemz. I was like,
Oh, nice.
look
Wow, that's amazing, man.
How many?
like, yeah,
They send us that, we'll get up the
Wow.
sleeve.
I got that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
How many people's that?
oh, mate, it was just bodies upon bodies, mate. Do you know what I mean? And in that setting, it's like, well, it's sink or swim, innit? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, if you're on before Lil Connor, these people are here to see Lil Connor, so they might actually like your type of music. So
Yeah.
you really have to go like hard. Like there's no
Yeah, exactly.
bro, it's like you literally have to give 100% and hope for the best, you know, and it really paid off in that setting, you know, because by the time we even got to Leeds, there were like people, I don't know why, but there was like a couple of people who was seeing me at Reading, and then they fucked off to Leeds and then see me at Leeds as well. And I was like, that's actually madness. Do you know what I mean? Because you must have liked it to then come back and be like, I'm gonna go see that act again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, it's pure tough, man, you know, but it's rewarding after. Like, for me, that's the greatest part of it. being able to go on stage and be like, this is gonna be a tough gig, and come off and be like,
Yeah.
smash
Smash
that.
Smash
Do you know what I
that.
mean? Like I done what's with Killer Mike from Run the Jewels.
Yeah, nice.
Bro,
He's cool.
Again,
Yeah.
claim to fame, he follows me as well. You know, but this is probably one of my favorite experience as a musician, actually. So like, Killer Mike is, for me, a legend in the rap game, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, it was meant to be them, Run the Jewels and Rage Against the Machines. I think it was a year or two in Edinburgh. What's it called? They were supposed to play, but then Rage pulled out.
All right.
And I think Run the Jewels were already here. They were like,
Just do the gig.
we want to do a gig, you know? So I got literally like 3 days before or whatever, like, do you want to support Run the Jewels? And I'm like,
Wow.
mate, yes. Like that's not even a question, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm there. So we go up, and another thing I try to do, I try to play it cool whenever I'm around like really famous people, because I'm like, one, like, even though you're more famous than me, I don't want you to think I'm just a little boy, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And two, I don't want to be seen as a groupie, innit? I'm a big man, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh my God, that's Killer Mike, do you know what I mean? So I always try and just be, obviously I'm respectful, I'm like, hey, how you doing, blah, 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 but I'm never like, do you know?
Yeah.
And they come in, and I'm just like going, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, this guy's a fucking legend, do you know what I mean? And I go on stage, and I'm performing, and the audience is feeling it, everything is going amazing, do you know what I mean? And I come off, right, and I shit you not, I walk down the stairs, and Killer Mike's just standing there. And it turned out that he was there for like the whole set.
Nice.
And
Sick.
he was like, mate, that shit was amazing. Bro, like, he was just gassing me up. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, man, you need to give my manager your contact, your this, your that. And I'm like, is this actually happening? Do you know what I mean? So obviously I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. You're just saying that, whatever. And like,
You're like, just give me a bit of space, actually. I'm just a normal guy like you.
I'm like, Michael, man, chill out. Do you know what I mean? And mate, I swear to God, see, before they left, his manager then came back, and his manager was like, no, like, we want your details. And I'm like, what the fuck, do you know? And bro, next day, followed me. And bro, and now me and Killer Mike just DM each other. Like, what else on that? I swear to fuck, man. Like, on it. But so that for me was one of like the coolest moments ever, because it was something that I thought was gonna be tough, and it was relatively just like
amazing.
That's cool.
That's
Yeah,
the dream,
like,
innit?
bloody
That's the
crazy.
fucking dream.
Yeah, that's,
You know?
that's bloody crazy. There's also a bit of a joke to be had where you work in a Run the Jewels and
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Argyle Arcade.
He
There's
went
a-
from running the jewellery store to running the jewels.
I couldn't
So,
quite
wait.
work it out. I was like,
how you guys like, how did you even remember that though?
it's a callback, man. It's just,
Yeah,
you
I
just
was also trying to think of something.
yeah, I was like the whole time. I was
Really?
like, oh, he's running the jewels and you're. So I was like, how do I word this? But I couldn't get it, man.
That's
You win
crazy,
some, you lose
because-
some.
Because for me, I would not have even
Put them two together.
I also put them together
Yeah.
until you said that. And I'm like, ah.
When you try to stand up between your bits, you can think of stuff
Yeah.
like
No,
that.
mate, because that's a bar and a half right there. Do you know what I mean? Like, shit. Went from the jewelers to being on stage with Run the Jewels. Bro, that, I might work that into an album. Watch
get
this
it to
space,
scan,
by the
but
way.
That's we've got a credit. We've each got a credit. You should have done your wee rap, and maybe you could have been on it as well.
I know, you're letting the side down now, man. I can't lie. Jesus Christ. Are they carrying this on you?
I'm basically the Dr. Dre of this podcast. You mentioned the BBC Introducing, because you won a couple of years ago. Was it the BBC Introducing? Was it Scottish Act of the Year?
Scottish Act of the Year,
Nice,
mate. Aye,
congrats.
mate. Thank you, man.
Steve once won the BBC New Comedy Award, so these are both BBC.
Yeah, award winner with the BBCs.
We were in the heat.
Well robbed.
Yeah, it was. I was the first person to win it,
Wow.
which is pretty cool, because it's like that will go down on
Yeah,
the history of it. Number one, do you know what I mean, man?
that's great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, because I did not think I was going to win that either. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, oh, I'm here,
Aye.
take part, get the exposure, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? And
Was it like a competition where you go up and do your thing and then
So
judges and stuff?
So basically, it's like you submit your music to the BBC, and then they then give it to like different creatives and musicians, and they all vote, and then it goes to like the last like 20 or something like that, and then the public votes for like the last. No, I tell a lie. It goes to the last 10, and the public vote for the best 4 or 5 or whatever.
Right.
And then they have a show, and then you go up, you perform one of your songs, and then you do a cover of another.
Right, okay.
And then the judges on the day vote. But like, for me, it's so difficult as a rapper because you can't do a cover. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't just go up and just rap someone else's lyrics. Do you know what I mean? So, but I pure cheated. Mate, I cheated, right? So, I had just been put in contact with Joseph's team, and Joseph's got this song with Lil Kana again, called I Wonder Why. And I was just like, I've been listening to it for a while, and I was just like, here, I wonder if they'll let me use that beat. So if y'all sent them an email like, hey guys, how you doing?
Nice,
because I was like, you know, if I do someone who's Scottish and that would definitely go down well, innit? Do you know what I mean? And mate, literally, like, and it's so funny because when I was talking to the judges, they were like, that's why you won it, because you came up, and even though we asked for a cover, you gave us something completely different. You know, all the other bands went up and done like Miley Cyrus and all that stuff, like word for word, but obviously different. But like I gave them a completely different song. Like the lyrics was completely different.
That's great.
And the beat was familiar because they knew the song. Do you know what I mean? So it ended up being well for me. Do you know what I mean?
That's
and
cool.
Won it, and that's how I got to play like Transmit and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So
how was that to play?
Transmit was good, man. But again, Transmit was a funny one because I won the BBC Scratch Act of the Year thing, I was on first at the River stage. So, mate, 12:30, mate. There's like 80 people in front of me and that. But for us, we're like, whether it's 1, whether it's 1,000, you go out, you do the job, innit? Do you know what I mean? But what was so funny about that
does Ride Master Bull go down at that time?
Mate, it went down well, mate. So what's gonna, because we'd been like parading the song about, but we hadn't actually released it yet. Do you know what I mean? So cunts knew it.
Yeah.
And then we dropped it the day after. Do you know what I mean? Just to obviously get like optimum reach and stuff. But the funny part about that Transmit thing was, at that point I'd already done the song with the Snuts, and they were playing on the same day. So I went from playing to 80 people on the River stage to coming out on stage on the main stage in front of like 50,000 people, man.
Wow.
Mate, do you know what? I don't even remember it. Like I swear to God, mate, like I was at stage side and mate, like I just blacked out because I was like, this is a lot. Do you know what I mean? Mate, I've never tripped up. I've never fallen over. Actually, I have forgotten my lines and I was about to lie there. But like, I was just thinking of everything that could humanly go wrong. I'm like, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna try and run across that stage, fall off it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so me, I was just like, let's just go to a place where, and bro, I came off stage and then I was like, oh, did that just happen? So I had to like go home and watch it again and be like, oh look, that's me on the stage and that. Do you know what I mean? Like, mate, honestly, it was
surreal,
crazy, mate. Like to this day, I guess it's the biggest stage I've played on. Do you know what I mean? But hopefully one day, we'll get back there and actually play it. It'll be me bringing up the Snuts. Do you know what I mean?
Or maybe the Some Laugh podcast.
Marc can try out his bars. Riches and bitches. Do new stuff on the main stage.
And you get the M4 festival coming up.
Yeah.
And what is it? Is it the 3rd of August? Is that
3rd
right?
of August, mate. Yeah.
What's can tell people a wee bit about that?
It's just a festival, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? No, I'm joking. So basically, it's something that I've been working on for a while, and it's like, it was actually after I played Transmit that I realised that I had to put it into fruition, because like, when I came off stage and stuff, and it was all great, blah, 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 I got home and I was checking my phones, talking to all my friends and stuff, and it was like a big deal. And it wasn't just like a big deal to like me and stuff, which obviously I would kind of like expect, but like to like the scene, it was like massive. And I was like, wait, why is this actually such a big thing? And then when you actually looked back on the timeline, it was like, oh, like, I'm like one of like 2-3 acts to ever play Transmit. And I was like,
from the rap scene.
from the rap scene. And I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah, like, oh. And then I started looking at the lineups of all the festivals and I'm like, yo, like, the man them don't get booked for nothing. Like, we're seeing bands where they've not released a single song getting prime time on these stages, but like we don't get booked for nothing. And I was like, you know what? Fair, isn't it? Like, I could have went home. Actually, I actually did rant about it on Twitter. I was like, oh, that's actually pure fucking shit.
Start World War VIII.
Yeah, but like, I feel like people have to be held accountable for it. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and then you then actually just realize that nobody's going to do anything about it because they don't really care, innit? So, M4 was already like a side project that I was already doing. And it was just really about using whatever name I'd made for myself as Bemz to be able to then like showcase what's coming up. Because like I was that wee guy in Stranraer and Air where nobody really gave two fucks about because, well, I wasn't in Glasgow, I wasn't doing anything, do you know what I mean? But now that I became Bemz, everybody's like, oh, that's Bemz, let's get him on, let's do this, you know? So I was like, if I create something where we can just showcase and show people that the talent is there, you just need to go look for it, it'll be great, you know? So we started running like a small M4 and Friends event, 60 tickets, and it was like no pressure on the acts. It was like more, if we build a brand that is known, people will come. So like, if you look at So Far Sounds, for example, you don't know who's playing, but you trust the brand, like the brand. So you buy a ticket, you go to it. And so I was like, well, if we can create that for like rappers and like R&B singers and stuff like that in Scotland, this would actually be great. So we just started running it. We done like 3-4 sold out. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. And then I was talking about my next headline and we were going for like 700. And I was like, well, like I've got a thing in my shows that one of the support acts has to be an up and coming musician. You know, it has to be someone who has not had the opportunity to play on a big stage before. So it will be them open and then a bigger name than myself, you know? So then I was like, right, well, you know what? If we're going to do that and we're going for like a large amount of numbers, like 800 or whatever, why don't we just start this idea of a festival, you know? And that's where the M4 festival idea came to be. It was literally a case of my next headline show, but how do we make it more about the community and rather than one man, you know? So we got in touch with Bad and everything like that. And yeah, and we made it happen. So
That's great.
Everybody who's playing is local,
Brilliant.
you know, from Glasgow, Edinburgh, and out and about. Yeah, obviously me as the headline, and then 5 others in the live acts, and then there's 6 DJs. And we've just done like a call out as well to give another youngster an opportunity to DJ at it. Do you know what I mean?
Nice.
And it's paid. What's gonna, because most time all these people be doing, oh, do you want to play at my festival? Register, and they're like, come play for exposure. Do you know what I mean? And for me, bro, like exposure doesn't pay bills, as we all know, you know. So we're able to obviously put it in and be like, right, come join it, pay, you know, like you get paid for it. And yeah, and we've just been pushing it. And another thing that was very important for me as well was making it be like affordable. Because I'm like, if you're doing it for the community, you can't outprice the community out of it, you know? So we were able to get the price down to just £15 as well, you know? So it's like £15, start at 3 o'clock, from 3 till 12 o'clock at night. Do you know what I mean? And it's all just local acts and local bands from like rap music, R&B, jazz, just conscious rap, I guess. And then in the DJs bit, there's like Afro house, techno, deep house, everything like that, you know? It's just a wide range of music to essentially like showcase what Scotland has to offer. And the main goal and the end goal for me is, you know, if we can do this and let's say 2 of the acts who play this festival can go on and play other festivals, great.
Yeah.
But it also means that a lot of people who have never had an opportunity to play a festival are now getting booked for festivals. And it does a lot for the confidence for them to be like, oh shit, like what I'm doing is actually getting recognized to the point where people are now paying me to come play on such a big scale, you know? So we're just hoping though to obviously build it and grow it to the point where it is, you know, I'm not going to say as big as Transmit and stuff, but if that's what God wants it to be, then great, you know? But we just want to just create something that's for us, by us, and every year people know that there's a chance for them to actually play something and be part of the community. Do you know what I mean? So
that's great.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So that's brilliant. And that's it, Bad at the Barrowlands?
Yeah.
It's a great venue, that.
Design. Yeah. So it's inside and outside. So the DJs will be outside and the live acts, obviously, indoors, you know. So.
Amazing. We'll put the link in the description and stuff like that as well, and people can find tickets there. But I think that about covers it, man. Thank you so much for
Cheers,
joining
man.
us.
Thank you so much for having us, man. That was funny as hell. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be a whole lot worse. Do you know what I mean? I was like, okay, yeah, they're gonna go through me now. I appreciate you so much.
Cheers, man.
Cheers for coming.
All we ask is that you put that Run the Jewels line in, and then you say, get it?
But by the next time, I need your lyrics as well. Like shake on it.
Yeah, that's it. Bad next year. We're good. But aside from that, man, where can people find you? Just if you want your socials out.
I'm everywhere on social media as Big Bemz1. So that's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's not Twitter now, it's X, isn't it?
It's
X and so on and so forth. Everywhere it's just Big Bemz1. Just keep it simple.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff, man. And as ever, guys, before we go, just please remember to like us on social media as well. You can like and subscribe on YouTube, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and can follow us at SomeLaughPod on Instagram, TikTok and X. And please just remember, if you've got any questions, you can send them to our email address, which is somelaughpod@gmail.com. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll speak to you very soon.
Nice
Cheers.
one.
Cheers,
Cheers,
man.
Bemz.
Cheers, man. Thank you so
Easy.
much.